See you. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday. Okay. Pay it forward Friday, we're seizing the day. Digital finance, unlearning a love, serving food the what goes to rising and to beat and it Eastern on P2GTV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.
Wow. Hey everybody, welcome to
Yes.
It is Work It Out Wednesday, and we are here to share. I'm your girl, Ruby T, in the house. I'm here with my beautiful baby boy, who?
Hey, this is a Gold Banker coming to you live on Grammar and Time. Alvin Thomas in the place.
That's what's up. And today we bring you a phenomenal guest. We have our very own BK Bruja Labs, our very own shaman, and she about to do her thing, y'all. Come on in, sis. Let's go.
Here. What's up? So I just want to take this moment to give you all an opportunity to, before we start, just to get ourselves grounded this morning at 8 a.m. because, I'm usually out the door by now, but just to give you guys a moment to take a deep breath and to set intention to sit in this moment and to really just gather the information that's coming through for you and giving you the knowledge and wisdom that's going to show up today. And so we like to use the sound bowls if you have any sound items that you can use, even solfeggios, but the best way to do this is to just sit still, make sure your shoulders are relaxed away from your neck and holding them up by your ears, closing your eyes and taking a deep breath through your nose, entering and filling up your belly, holding that breath for a moment, feeling it enter your body, and then exhaling through your mouth. You can even give a sigh. That also helps to wake up the vocal cords and the energy. And so we're going to do about 3 to 4 of those breaths. Okay. So I'm going to tell you how to just breathe everything out real quickly. Just take a deep breath in through your nose. Holding it. Exhale through the mouth. Releasing any tension, anything that's holding you in this moment that doesn't belong in this moment. Anything that could be bringing tension up. But taking your focus away, letting these thoughts melt away. Anything that may be coming up after the weekend we've had with the snow and all the things. Getting back to the normalcy of life. Take another deep breath in. Holding it. Setting the intention to clear your mind, clear your body. Feeling loved and held in this moment. Exhale. And inviting our ancestors to come in this moment to sit with us. God, source, universe, whatever you know your source to be, spiritually connecting you to this human experience as a spirit. Taking that deep breath in. Exhaling. We give thanks. We ask for your ancestors and all of the energies to show up in this moment for your highest and greatest good. We say Ashe, Amin, or Amen, whatever fits for you. Ashe.
Oh my God, that is phenomenal. Now, is my nose supposed to feel like it's about to start running?
Yes, absolutely. So if your nose is running or you feel like you got a cough or phlegm comes up, that is your body releasing toxins, releasing energy that is released. So, and this is a great thing to do, just deep breaths, because the winter weather, immunity, it helps your immune system to start working because you're slowing the body down. Right? We're constantly moving. But when you slow down and you take intentional breaths, you even feel your lungs having to work a little harder, right? You feel the air having to move faster.
Very nice. Very nice. I like that.
I was like trying to figure out, am I feeling it in the right spot?
Yes.
Like, I remember when, back in the day, it'd be like, no, not your chest and your stomach. I'm like, oh.
And it's always good to, like I say, when working with people, I always set the intention. Even if you don't feel it right now, the fact that you are willing to willingly just go through the steps, be open to just following through. And your mind just even taking the deep breaths, even if you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing, it still is activating you. So it's always important to just, be open and have an open mind and say, all right, I'm gonna try it, because you just don't know. And some of the activations come later, not all
That's
of us
right.
started at the same point.
So I want to just point out something to all the listeners. Thank you so much wherever you're coming in from. We appreciate you all being with us, giving us your time and your focus. And we always try to bring you the best content for your health, your wealth, and yourself every day, and especially your spirit. And today I had to ask her for this. I told some of y'all on the last show I was going to ask her to do so y'all make sure you run through the rerun and do it again. And don't forget to use her link, because you think that was good. She do her thing.
You're going to really see the links later. Come on.
Okay, so one of the reasons why we absolutely had to have the BK Bruja come in early on in the year is because she is the one that helps us to set the intention, to be intentional in the year about yourself, your life, and what you want. And that's what she's been for me. And just want to let you know, this is one of my not even former, I gotta say, this is one of the Black Girls in Wealth 3. You know what I'm saying? One of the women of wealth and power in the world out here. And I'm so proud to have her and not just in our energy, but in our community as part of. She is our shaman, or shaman mama, or whatever we call it. You know what I'm saying? She really is. And that is something I wanted to bring. So I made a point of reaching out, and she was this is not a woman that stands still, y'all. And the fact that this weekend we had the weirdest snow at this time, which, by the way, is actually on time. Just for those who don't understand what they've been seeing, this is real winter.
Yes,
This is what
indeed.
winter really supposed to look like. And that gives me hope for our planet overall. And knowing that I connect in communities like this, I want to share this woman with you, and her path, her walk, and even her destiny. So I'm really excited to ask questions, but I'm not going to, because today, Mr. Thomas gets to run the show.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay, no problem. Look, I'm ready.
No, I know this woman very well. We can talk all day.
I think the stakes just went up. I feel like I'm in the hot seat for the coaching.
No
pressure. Take it easy.
No.
Okay,
First of all, gratitude for being on the show with us today. It's a blessing to have you in the space. Oh man, I was so, when Ruby said she was going, I was we spoke a little bit earlier, and I was talking about, the etymology of how I grew up in the word with certain words like your name, Bruja, laugh. But tell me, how did you come in? Tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are. Excuse me.
Absolutely. So first off, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. So a New Yorker for most of my life. I've been seeing spirits and being able to connect to spirits since I think I remember my first profound moment was at 3 years old. I was at my grandfather's funeral, and I kept going up to the coffin and just like talking to him, and people were like, does she know he's dead? And I don't know if she understands death. And I was like, no, he's right there. And I pointed like in the corner, and people were just like, wait, what are you talking about? And I kept saying to them, like, you want some food? You might want to get up. They're going to close you in here. And people were just like, what is she talking about? And I was maybe 3 or 4 years old. So it started very early on for me. But, in society, as you know, like you said, you had a etymology of what a witch is, or the archetype of what a bruja is when people hear the word bruja. And so I always reference the BK Bruja and what it means, because my name really came to me from just an embodiment of who I am. One, I'm from Brooklyn, right? And the rose grows in Brooklyn, the tree grows in Brooklyn. And I feel like my roots are a part of how I even became what I am spiritually, right? And Brooklyn has such a wealth of people and energy, Caribbean island people, Haitian people. You have such a melting pot of people who are spiritually tapped in, bringing a lot of their ancestral practices with them from their islands where they come from to America, to New York specifically, if they, decide to come here. And just how being able to be exposed to that so early on allowed me to cultivate kind of my own path and being in the spiritual work that I do, and coming back to my shaman roots. Like I say, we all have lived past lives, right? And people may be like, what do you mean by that? But in this time that we're in, where there's this great age of awakening happening, a golden era that happens every so often in our history and our time periods, is happening again, and it's reemerging. And this is the time that we are alive and that we get to be a part of that that blueprint that is showing up and unfolding. And this is the generation to bring in this new era. And so for me, I'm a shaman, psychic medium. I connect to people's ancestors to the point where I've connected with people's ancestors and like, I don't know that person. What do you mean? And then like be able to go back to your own family and get receipts and check and verify. Akashic records, which we all know is the record of our lifetimes, both the present one, past lives, and future ones that we haven't lived yet. And so we tap into that energy and help to heal different things, traumas that may show up in this current lifetime that comes from things that may have happened in previous lives, right? So sometimes we have trauma, and that can come back in this lifetime as well. So just a myriad of things. I read cards to filth. They call me Nosy Perez. So like, if you're trying to hide something or you try to lie to me, don't do it. Don't lie to the psychic, because I'm going to find out. And I'd rather you tell me versus me having to dig, because then I see things I don't want to see.
I gotta laugh at that because you said something that really stood out. As a 3-year-old, you were in tune at an early age, and at 3 years old, you can say a lot of things and people kind of laugh it off. But how long did it take you to really get on that path after where did you realize this is the path you should be following when you got to becoming, wanting to be a shaman? How did that come along?
Well, I never wanted to be a shaman because one, I don't like labels. I feel like labels put you in boxes, but as you grow up in this life, you realize that certain labels embody certain energies and they are a part of who you are, right? Some people would be like, I don't like public speaking, but you speak so eloquently. You activate people. You are a public speaker. Embrace that, right? And so for me, I actually turned off my gifts for a while. High school was a very depressing time for me. It was very awkward because I would read people's charts in school and do zodiac stuff, but then I also went to Catholic school. And so religion for me was kind of this thing where I've read the Bible, but I didn't understand it. There were certain parts of it that didn't make sense to me. And then I ended up in a metaphysical class that talked about metaphysics and different like Latin terms. And I just thought it was interesting because in high school, you had to be selected for that metaphysical class. And there was only like small group of us that got selected for that class. And I was one of them. And I thought it was interesting because now that I think about it in retrospect, a lot of the people that I was in the class with were people who read cards or did astrology or read horoscopes or could describe a person or got intuitive messages. And so I think the path was always following me, but I kept trying to push it away. There was a point in time I had gotten a psychic message during a bar night at a bar. There was a point where I couldn't control it, right? And so it would just show up because drinking, what we know about drinking alcohol is a spirit, right? They call it spirits for a reason because different alcohol has a spirit embodiment. The things that alcohol are made of, such as gin is made from juniper berries. And juniper berries is we know that is a herb, a fruit in the natural world, but it helps to connect you to your ancestors. It is a direct veneration tool used to generate your ancestors. If you ever notice when people do certain rituals and things, and I'm not going to talk too sacred into it because some of it is very sacred, but certain initiations and rites, spirits are used, right? They take a shot or they put rum or, those are things to help allow you to channel the energy and venerate those spirits. And so I was having a margarita night with friends and I kept hearing, I'm trying to get the bartender's information, like, hey, can you give me another drink? And he kept passing. It was like he couldn't see me. And I remember hearing somebody say, well, go over there to the security guard. You got to tell him something. So I'm like, okay, what is this? And so I kept getting the message. And so I'm talking to him and I'm like, hey, I don't know what you do outside of security, but are you thinking about going back to school or something? You got to get back into it. And I keep hearing something about praying. You need to pray more. And I was like, and don't forget this because this right here is important to you. And I touched him, and under his shirt he had on rosary beads.
What?
Didn't even know. Just touched him here. I just kept something said touch his heart, and I said, and something keeps saying don't deny this. Thinking I'm touching his heart, it was the rosary beads. And I was like, you need to go back to praying and get back into religion. That's what I keep hearing for you. I said, it's something about your grandmother. He's like, you can't be possibly talking about my grandmother because my grandmother's dead. I was like, wait, what? So his grandmother was who taught him about the rosary and like praying and all these things. And it was just like whatever he was going through in life, he wasn't hearing her. And she was trying to find somebody to give this message to so that he could get it. And I mean, it was just like so insistent. It was like whispering. I couldn't stop. I was like, okay, what is this? So I give him the message and I'm like, well, I'm not doing that again. Right. I'm not doing that again. Out of my mouth.
Right.
I will tell you that is not a conversation for the ancestors. They don't hear. I'm not.
I'm about
right,
to say,
but I said it, and because they don't have a body, And we can only command our ancestors with our words because we
That's
have
right.
a vessel as a human body and a spirit. I said, I'm not doing that again. And automatically it stopped.
What?
Yep. And that happened. I literally stopped my psychic mediumship gift of being able to see for about 15 years.
Wow.
Before going back to reclaiming it and getting back into getting my sight back. Because all 5 of our senses have a spiritual side to them, right? The clear taste, there's clear sentience, clear audience to hear, the inner ear, seeing with your physical eyes within your third eye.
Yeah.
You know, things that you can speak through your, you know, people speak in tongues or they'll get, you know, certain messages. That's all you generating spiritual energy through you.
That's what's up. See, this is what I'm talking about, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but baby girl, this is what, people, y'all see what I'm talking about? Yeah, you want to come down? Okay, because you're so clear. This is not so ambiguous that we can't understand it. I think more of us identify with what you're saying in ourselves, our ancestry connection, being pulled in a direction, being told almost that we are in the wrong place, doing the wrong things with our lives, that we like, oh, but our ancestors are trying they try their hardest to pull us out of our places that we hold ourselves in. And they come at us from different directions, but we ourselves speak ourselves into the place they will allow us to stay. She just explained, you just broke down the power of the word for me in like just there. So you stopped it. They ain't stop it. You stopped it.
And that's free will. That's your free will gift. That is such the gift that free will gives us. But we don't realize in the consciousness, the ability to have a consciousness to understand that we are energetic vibrations of power, right? People are power. Whether it's our physical power, whether it's our mental power, whether we're creating, we are current vessels of energetic power, and we can create, we can manipulate, we can transmute, we can do so many things, but we have lost our ability to operate in our freedom of free will and autonomy, right? And so when you think about where the world is right now and just all the things that's going on, astrology is a great place to like navigate some of these things, especially with the transits that are happening currently. And that was one of the things when I thought about what was I going to talk about today in terms of just what makes the most sense to offer to the community during these times. And it was really about that axis of Saturn and Neptune going into Aries at a 00 degree point. That's coming up in February. It'll be a conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. And that is a really profound connection because of the simple fact that Aries, we know, is all about courage and leadership, showing up in that bravery. Aries are people, I say Aries can be so misunderstood because a lot of people are like, oh, they're so angry, they're aggressive. Aries are passionate people. They can be very passionate to the point where their passion can turn into aggression when they feel like they're not being heard, or they see the potential in people to do so much better, and they're just like tripping themselves up. But they see like, no, it's the world, it's society, it's the man. It's like you're the man. You're the one causing these things to yourself too. Like you're helping to perpetuate what the man's doing. Because if they mandate you go to work and you say yes, now that mandate exists. But if you don't, comply.
Exactly.
There's no mandate.
So I have a question.
Happen.
Yes. I have a question, and this kind of just came to me. In the process of doing what you do, is there ever a space where people that you speak to or try to share the gift with see it as your subconscious or your intuition opposed to what you're really sharing with them as a connection to their internal spiritual side? Is that a question that ever comes up?
I don't know if it's necessarily a question, more so an energetic vibration that may show up. I believe that, like I said, we're all energetic beings. We're always possessing energy. We're always giving off and receiving, and we're always emitting. And we have impressions that create different energetic bodies over our own bodies. And there's so many different layers to the planes that we all exist in, right? Because we have a circle of ourselves, and there's an outer circle, and then another circle, and then you have your chakras internally, right? And then you have different parts of us that are within going on, and then those things externally outside of us that are also interacting with our energy fields, right? And who we are. And I would say energetically that shows up, and that's usually how people come to me. Sometimes it'll be having a conversation, and I could be just having a regular conversation with someone, and I'll say something, they'll be like, wait a minute, how did you know that? And it's like, I'm just having a conversation with you. I don't even mean to like pick up on it, but energetically somewhere there's a connection that's happening, and
It's in the
somehow
space.
I can pick up on your energy, and they'll be asking questions, and sometimes they'll ask questions, the answers like, oh wait, this girl can hear spirits. Oh wait, hold up, let me come here, girl. Let me tell you this in their ear real quick. And then start describing themselves to me and like showing me outfits and telling me about little things that happened when they were kids, and then I'm like, okay, well, what's this thing about Robin Hood and like I'm like talking about costumes you wore when you were 7 with your brother playing in the park, like things that would not be known to anybody that you've never told. I mean, So a funny story is I once told a guy, I was talking to him and I was like, I don't know why I want to keep asking you about Chocolate City and Big Mike. He was like, wait, what?
Chocolate City?
Chocolate City and Big Mike. He was like, that's crazy. That's funny you say that. Why did you say that to me? And I was like, I don't know. I just keep hearing to ask you your stripper name. He was like, that's funny because when I was 16, I really thought about, could I make a career as a stripper? I didn't know that, right? So it's like,
no.
And the imagery that I'll get. So I love the fact that as a human, we have so many different like more mediums and arts and songs and movies and things that our ancestors would use, things that we normally day to day use as entertainment, but use it as ways to also give us messages.
Exactly.
Ever having a bad day, put on a playlist and randomly go, what's my energy for today? And hit 1, 2, 3, whatever song comes up, listen to it. It's so ironic and interesting how you'll be like, wait a minute, the lyrics to this song is really telling me something about how I either need to change my energy or giving you confirmation of something you're asking. I call that the ancestor jukebox.
I love it.
Literally get a playlist, put together some songs, empowerment songs or songs about love. And then literally just randomly just shuffle through and it's like, okay, what is my hubby feeling for me today? 1, 2, 3. Whatever that song is that comes up. What are they thinking about today?
What are you feeling for me today, Miss Ruby?
I'm a survivor. I'm just kidding. It just came to me just
and
now.
that you are, and that speaks to the divine feminine energy that's also coming back online with these, these planets and transits and things. And I think, like I was saying about that Neptune-Saturn conjunction happening February 20th in Aries, it's about embodying that courageousness, that ability to. One, Neptune is all about spirituality, your dream state. What are you dreaming about? What do you want to create and bring from internally to the external, right? And so there's an energy of that creativity that shows up in the divine feminine consciousness of Christ. And then there's also the masculine, Christ consciousness. And we're getting back to bringing that balance because we've been so heavily relying on divine masculine Christ consciousness, which is that Bible, right? The tangible thing we can read. The thing we can feel and embody, but divine feminine Christ consciousness is internal. It's the things the intuitive downloads, the nudges, the whispers, the things that tell you don't go down that block. Don't go over there. Right? And don't go with them to that party. Get out that car.
Now, when you say that, see, because I think I want to make sure we clear the lines for the men. Because when y'all hear divine feminine, you for some odd reason disconnect and disassociate yourself with that. Like it has nothing to do with you. It has everything, as probably more so to do with the men downloading that for themselves. Because you've gotten so far away from your divine feminine that you're looking for it in some woman and you can't find, and I'm learning this.
And you have been shaking your head like,
thank you.
No, that's why she was singing Destiny's Child. She's a survivor because look, she's been activated. They done turned it up for her. But she's absolutely right because, and I want to implore our diaspora of indigenous melanated folks when it comes to this love energy, because love is going to go through a reconditioning. Unconditional love has to come back online. The level of love we are at right now is so lusty and carnal that people literally are in situationships. That is not a relationship. Situationships, when you can accept someone saying you're a situation that I'm gonna come entertain here and there, that means you have settled. You are not living in your birthright. Unconditional love from every aspect comes from our diaspora of being able to be poly meaning loving more than one and not sexually. That's the part we have to start getting back to and understanding. So that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day.
Didn't we just have this conversation the other day about poly?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, but that was a joke. Okay, that was a joke. But I think when people think poly, like she said, poly has been, that whole polyamory thing has been turned into some carnal, physical process, along with had the same thing about the community. Look, I show you y'all right now. I am pro every damn thing. Whatever you believe is love is love. But It cannot be tempered by what you hate. And that becomes a problem because you can't love according to how you hate. And that's what we see. It seems like these levels of limits instead of that unconditional.
And
Your
unconditional don't keep receipts. Unconditional, unconditional can be confrontational too. And I think people have gotten to this point of thinking like, if you love somebody, you're not going to be confrontational. No, if I love you, I want to see you grow. And when I see you're not living up to your potential, or you're not doing things that's in what you're capable of, and I can see you taking that human approach of, oh, I want to be lazy, or oh, I want to get to the human vices, and allow the human vessel to kind of be a little more leaning on that side of the scale versus the spiritual side, and balancing it out, right? Because that does come up. And we tend to do that. And and like you said, I do implore our men to understand that your divine feminine Christ consciousness comes from, and Alvin, you did it just not too long ago. We were talking and you said, you know what, I had a question that just popped into my mind just right now, right? That moment of you getting that intuitive download, that is your feminine Christ consciousness showing up. And that happens to you quite often, that you are in a space where if you have divine feminines that are around you that help to support your ability to feel safe enough to come with those questions and feel safe enough to be vulnerable enough to ask those type of questions, you're operating from that organically.
Thank you, baby.
And that's where a lot of our divine masculines haven't had that space to do that, especially if you had a single mother. You have to have divine masculines being mentored by other divine masculines.
Yes.
We can give you a space and hold that container, but it's not between our legs. And that's what ends up happening is men come for that type of therapy.
Good.
But you got to think about what happens in those intimate moments.
That is a perfect analogy, honestly. That is a very perfect. That is I don't know, analogy or synonym, but really, a lot of times when we think of, and I'm going to speak just from the male perspective because it's the only one I can, we find our femininity in physical attraction opposed to, and actually a mental attraction to the woman that you're with. Because you see her and you see her as a feminine object that needs to be paraded around as eye candy, opposed to a woman who is prolifically intelligent and you can actually connect with her mind and be in a space of understanding intelligence where you can have a conversation that actually works. And she gives to you and holds your femininity in line, knowing that it's okay that you share where you are in your heart opposed to where you are in your bravado. Because men hide their femininity and bravado quite often. I'm guilty as charged. I've done it quite often.
And I appreciate you for saying that, because that's also divine Christ consciousness showing up when you can take acceptability and accountability and say, I can say I haven't been operating from that. When you can operate from that authentic you and don't feel like, oh, if I say I did that, now everybody's going to think I'm a bad person and I'm going to, oh God, everybody's going to see me. Now I got to go. No, be authentic in that. And that was another example of divine Christ feminine consciousness showing up.
I grew up with a house full of women. I will say this, and they did not put up with any of that foolishness. If you feel now, they were from the old school. Boys and men do not cry. They're not gonna put up with no tears on you, but they will hear you out. Okay, you got about 3 seconds. Get it out your system. Let's go. And back to the game.
Even in that 3 seconds, they tell you get out your system. You still crying, and although they told you stop crying, they haven't said it but one time. Think about those times where they be like, go ahead in there. I know you need a moment. Go ahead and take your moment. But that moment that they're giving you is still to allow you that masculine pride, not to be broken down, but allowing you that space to cry. And yes, we have gotten away from allowing our men to cry. That has to stop.
Deal with themselves, to deal with the human self. Because unfortunately, where the hell did we get away from all being human? I'm like, we are one species. You're not a this or that. And, like I said, I'm a pro whatever you want to do with your personal life or however you want to call yourself. But in the end, you're human. And we have to deal with each other, ourselves. I'm sorry, let's switch that around. Ourselves, then each other. You got to be, if you don't accept yourself with all of your faults, who the hell are you trying to accept you with all your faults? And the fact is we got to be, like you said, become accountable. That's the thing about that relationship. It's got to allow vulnerability. If you don't accept your vulnerability in your relationship, guess what? Neither is the other person. You got it. And I had to learn this about trust. My husband will tell you, we met, he heard about a lot of relationships because I just don't have patience for the nonsense. I'm a sure
Like,
over time,
it
like
took
from
me a minute to get that in.
look, I don't have time for the nonsense.
But look, you learned though, right? You got past the lessons. You spent the block, and you're still
Thank you.
here, right? And
So,
so
and
that
it wasn't
speaks,
even about him. By the
that
time I
speaks to a
got to
lot.
him, by that time I got to Al, it was what you want to do with the future. Because I ain't got time for this. I'm doing stuff. I'm a busy woman. And you know the weirdest thing is he was like, I like you because you ain't like no other women.
But guess what? That is part of this journey. That is part of the
Yeah.
journey, is that divine feminine energy is having this revamp to show up in that feminine Christ consciousness, to show up and lead, not to take away from a male's leadership, not to
Oh.
take away from his role, but to also provide that balance. Because we've had
Oh,
such an
God.
imbalance where masculine energy has been ruling and doing, but then they don't release the feminine side, right? Where's the energy for the release of the
And they're
emotions and the
so
intuitive
tight.
stuff? If it just
Yeah,
sit in a box container, what do you do with that? And you shake it up a bottle of soda, and then you decide to open it. What happens? Now we have
Explosions.
war. Now we're having all kinds of war because y'all
Now
are
we
tapping into
mad.
divine feminine consciousness from the rage and the terror and the aggression and the passion. And now we got all this war, but nobody's touching on the other side of that spectrum.
Yes.
Why?
There's no love, and there's no ability to be the even self. I think people keep trying. I said, you don't balance a scale at 50-50. You balance a scale at 100-100. And
Absolutely.
we've been taught, oh no, it's even balance is 100%, not 50. If I have 50 cents, if I have 50 here and 50 there, that's still 100%.
I don't disagree with you wholly, but I know in living in life, there's always, I guess, a shift in the space. It's not that it's not 100, but sometimes you feel as though it's a 60-40 or 40-60, and that's a trend. And I guess that's just a transition of the how you're feeling at the time. It's a momentary thing. It's never that it's 100.
And sometimes it can be lived traumas we have gone through, experiences we've had, environments we constantly put ourselves in that are not conducive to who we are authentically, right? I say this all the time. You go into a job, you're using your ego all day to just keep yourself okay, to keep yourself in compliance to rules. When you're a rebel or you're free autonomous, and it's like, I want to go to the bathroom when I want to go to the bathroom. I don't feel like I want to ask somebody to go to the bathroom. How many times you had a job where somebody's like, you got to come to my desk and get a pass? And you're like, I ain't doing that. Like, you finding ways to get around it, right? Because autonomously, you're a free being. What do I look like asking some grown ass person, can I go to the bathroom?
Exactly.
Right? But that comes from that innate human experience of knowing I'm free and autonomous. I have certain needs and desires that I want to fulfill that I need to be able to do. And we tend to get into spaces where we're living in environments that are constantly taking our energy, our vessel of energy, and using it to their advantage, whether it's a job, whether it's, imbalance in your relationships dynamics, whether it's people pleasing. There's so many different things that we've lived through from our childhood to now that has created these imprints of our ego to keep us safe and surviving. When we need to survive, even if the situation is different, our brain doesn't know this is February of 2025, not February of 1996, when the lady told you she liked your shoes and she was being funny, but now you at a holiday party with your friend and the lady says, oh, I like your shoes. Oh, thank you. Was she trying to be funny? She don't even know you. She just met you for the first time. But your ego, because you had to fight back in 1996 at a party when somebody told you like they liked your shoes, your brain remembered that and imprinted that in that moment when it was a new experience happening. It was giving you an opportunity to change your lived experience from survival mode to understand that, no, accept that compliment, accept that feeling of positive energy.
Exactly.
I like that a lot. And I mean, and I noticed you said you've been speaking a lot about people dealing in their trauma as you speak to them. When you're dealing in a conversation with someone who's in trauma, and I don't want you to go deeper, and I don't want you to use anyone. What's the space you try to bring them to? And I think you alluded to it momentarily. But what's the space you try to bring them when you're walking them through their trauma so they can deal?
With trauma, I think the biggest thing you want to do, especially as a practitioner, is one, you want to reduce invoking the harm or the energetic emotions or the nervous system, bringing back those remembrance of that harm in a way that creates your body to now relive those experiences. And even our subconscious will have certain imprints that'll bring that up. So for me, it's bringing awareness, right? Let's look at this from putting it in this container, right? Because we go through meditations, we go through different aspects, and we go through guided scenarios where you can see these things embodying certain aspects. And, you know, I'll check with you, right? Well, you'll describe what you're seeing, because sometimes it could be needing a moment to go back to a moment you had when you were a kid, right? When you had a fight with somebody and you got beat up and you went home and you were sitting in your room by yourself and you're sitting on your bed. Now your human adult self goes back to that memory with that child, goes back to that child, sees that child and says, you know, let's look at it from this other perspective, because you're the adult going back to that energy. You know, you're safe now. Back then you might not have been safe, but you're safe now. So you can go back and talk to that part of yourself, that energetic vibration, and really have that conversation. Well, what was it that you needed in that moment? What didn't happen for you? What were you feeling? And then identify that. And literally people be like, oh my God, is this my inner child talking to me right now? It's like, yes, this is you talking to you, having this conversation.
Oh.
And
that
being able to
adult.
really touch on like, okay, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what I needed. Okay, well, guess what? I'm sorry that didn't happen for you, but guess what? Later down the line in the future, I'm you now. You're going to be good. We're going to go through some other trials and tribulations, but we're going to be good. And you're going to be able to embody who you are now and integrating that energy.
Okay.
Excellent.
Right? Because that does happen, but there's certain things that go through that to get you to that space. It's not just like we go close our eyes and you get there. Like, there's steps to it. I know I make it sound so easy. They're like, oh, okay, well, stand up. And then people be like, oh my God, well, am I crying, girl? And that's why I like to because a lot of this stuff emotionally will bring up tears, and tears is your libation to your ancestors. That's the way you release energy in the physical form, right?
Yeah.
Just like we pass gas, that's releasing of energy. The physical body symptoms are releasing of energy, whether it's old, new, in between. Energy doesn't die. So those are ways to release it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to just stop 1 second because I was able to do something successfully. For those who are enjoying this conversation and really interested and sincerely interested, I personally think you guys need to just hurry up and do this. I just popped up the actual contact code for we have a QR code for this young lady's website. I'm serious. Get in touch. I mean, if you can't afford it, then you doing something very wrong. Unless, you know, I never say right or wrong about anything, but if you can't afford $1, okay, a minute, and just get your questions answered, you be crazy. Because this young lady will open up some doors that will help you start to break through. In this conversation alone, I hope that you guys are getting the most value. This is a free conversation, and this is not. I'm like, all this value. Oh my God, girl! And I'm sitting here going through it. I'm trying to make more ways to during the program. Okay.
We're stepping on a few different areas, and it's really cool. It's really.
And Mr. Thomas, by the way, I want to say congratulations. You are doing phenomenally with this program. I love you, and I love the work that you're doing right now. And I'm be Ginger. I call her Ginger because that's our personal name. But sis, I thank you for bringing everything that is you. And she always does it, by the way. Everything she does, she's an authentic Ginger. You get it every time. The BK Bruja.
Spicy but sweet, eh? Yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna let the interview keep going because we got more good stuff. Don't forget, we're rolling into what's really going on because she's got some great stuff about to happen. All right. So I will see you. That QR code, take a look. It's up there. That's how to.
Well, let's move into the let's take a look at one of her pages. You know, let's let people see where she's at. And
there's an event coming up, and I was really. I guess you just did a program.
I did. So we had I do a lot of different things, but we did magic school that was up there. I have a link tree, and definitely check out the QCR code. Like I say, I always try to tell people, find a practitioner that resonates with you, ask questions, never just book with someone just because, you know, word of mouth or whatever, because you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. I know, you know, I've had situations where I want that. And so I created some DIY situations where people, if they're not comfortable yet working with a practitioner, they don't really know where they're at, there's certain things they can do. This one in particular is for our empathic nurses. It's called the Burnt Out Empath Nurse Recharge and Release Ritual Kit. It has 4 to 5 different rituals that are for you. One includes a spiritual bath ritual that helps you to release energy and just kind of get yourself acclimated. There's a meditation included. And if you book with the add-on, there is an actual bonus where you can get a 30-minute reading with me. And we will go through just like what's going on with your life, give you a little forecast on like what you can expect for the year, how you can use your energy creatively, especially like I said, with the 0 point in Aries coming up with that Saturn Neptune conjunction, because it's really going to be a checkpoint in where you're moving forward and what you're showing up in, and how authentically you're creating, initiating this new ability in this new world that we're creating, right? Because it's this heaven on earth energy that keeps showing up. And we are able to do that. We are able to create that as best as possible. And then the other one is the Inner Child Journal. It's about inner child healing. We all have things that as kids, we did not have all our needs met. There are times where there's things we've said and decided that we wanted, and somebody thought it was a joke, or something that we thought was so detrimental to us or emotionally broke our heart. And adults that were responsible for us didn't necessarily take the ability to repair the harm or help make sure that we are okay. And so the Inner Child Journal is that space for you to just DIY some of the things that you may have went through trauma-wise, experiences you may have had. And there is also a guided meditation there that helps you to go back and sit with your inner child, do that work like I was talking about. And you really do go through if you go through the guided meditation, you'll actually go back and sit with your inner child. A lot of people have gotten really good feedback from that one. And so that's another option. And also there's a session that you can also do with myself where we do cords and blocks removals, because we do pick up energy from people. And if you're interested in a recorded reading and or a one-on-one live reading, you can go to my Hipsy. I do recorded readings. I do live readings there, whether it's video, phone call, or live. I also will be doing a live reading on Hipsy at Instagram. So I do an Instagram live every so often. This month it'll be on the 31st. It's at 6:30 p.m. on a Saturday. You can book your reading through Hipsy and you get a discount. If you do a one-to-one reading, you get 17% off your first 10 minutes. It's $1 a minute. And so these are just ways you can tap in. And I have some classes upcoming as well, come the spring equinox, because that's the official new year.
I think I'm going to have to take up one of them readings and see how this goes.
Yes, I was about to say.
Yes, come through. I would love it. I love working with people who have never had a reading or like really skeptical, because I love showing what I enjoy doing, because it's real. It's really, this work is real. It's starting to become mainstream. My goal is to start working with entrepreneurs and CEOs and celebrities, because I want to be shaman to the stars. I've heard that before. My God, heard that. Had a dream I was talking to Lizzo and her flute. That's how it started.
She can start with me.
I will tell you, this wouldn't be my very first reading, because I know as a youth, my grandma had a friend, and his name was Junior. And every year or so, you were required to go see Junior to see what you're doing with your life. And if grandma didn't like it, grandma had a conversation with you outside of Junior. But it was never
we need
bad.
to get back to those moments, because those are the moments that really matter.
It was enlightenment, hey, this is what's going down.
Exactly.
Junior, and I don't know if he's still around, but let me tell you, Junior used to tell me some stuff, scared the heck out of me. Scared me straight many a day.
Now you can have a compare and contrast moment to see if I'm real legit, and then I could get your review and you can, tell the people what the
without a doubt, we're definitely going to talk about that.
I like that. Well, I ain't telling y'all nothing about my reading.
Oh no. You don't. Your reading, and this is one thing I will say: your reading is your reading. Grandparents didn't have that understanding. Your reading was their reading.
Oh, no, and they feel like that in the afterlife too. Like, your reading is not your reading either, because grandma might come through and say some things, and certain times I'm like, oh my God, whose grandmother is this? They cursing so badly, and it's like, no, that's my grandmother. I know it's her, because that's the only person I know who say stuff like that. And so I definitely love, like I said, helping people activate and get acclimated, because we all have ancestors. We all have people we're connected to. So being able to do this work and understand that, especially like I said, this checkpoint that's coming, that Saturn and Neptune conjunction, it's really about, like, who are you after you tell that old story, that old programming? Who are you now? Like, who are you becoming? Right. What are you creating to build your longevity? How are you showing up? Are you the personification of the Kardashian energy, or the Megan Stallion-esque energy, or are you authentically showing up? What does accountability and integrity look like in your life? Can you be accountable without feeling like you're the victim or the villain? Are you able to do that work and repair harm? Like, these are the things that this Aries conjunction is going to have in the 0-0 point, and it's giving you the opportunity to hit the restart button in certain areas of your life. So if you can, there's certain aspects like AstroSeek is a website you can use, or Astro Matrix, to do a birth chart and look at where Aries is transiting through your chart, because there's certain houses have certain meanings. And those houses where Aries is transiting will show you where you're getting those restarts and those resets. Personally, I know for me, it's in my 5th house, which is all about romance and joy, creativity, inner child, and how I show up with children and youth. What am I creating in my brand? What is my creative projects that I want to push forward so that I'm in that space of teaching and also being student, right? What does that look like for me moving forward? What does joy look like for me? What is real like being content? What does contentment look like in this next life that I'm producing in this next part of my life journey, right? And so it's this reset point. And so if you find what house it's in and you look up the definition of the houses, where you see Aries sitting, that'll give you a point of knowing February 20th, where you can sit and intentionally start putting together, what is this newness I'm creating and where is it hitting my chart and what house it's in. Some people it's their personification, their family life, finances, how you show for money. So definitely looking at that.
That's a powerful lead into the next question that we really have for you. And where do you see the BK Bruja going in the next 10 years, you and or your business? And matter of fact, let them know exactly what your name is. We never said the name of your business directly.
Well, I'm actually in a lot of different businesses. I am one of those Jills who is a Jill of all trades and a master of all and none, but at the same time, a master of one. I don't even think that's how it's said, but I just made it up. So we're going to let that shaman bar sit where it's sitting. But I would say I have a business where I help faith-based organizations through the NCUSA, which is the National Convention of Unincorporated Organizations. And it's for faith-based organizations that want to have a ministry or a temple or a church or some type of faith-based organization that allows you to get into spirituality and teaching and activating the community in ways that allow you to show up in that space. And usually churches, faith-based organizations allow us certain protections to allow us to do certain sacred sacraments and certain sacred practices like comedic yoga, right? Things like that. So I have that business where I help support people who want to create that, what that goes from your creative thoughts to an actual temple or actual physical brick and mortar is what we walk through, me and my business partner. I have Spiritually HR, which is a business that helps spiritual entrepreneurs clear their blocks, clear your shadows, clear all of those things so that we can get into you creating a strategy of how to monetize your gifts or monetize what you do in a way that allows you to bring community and the spiritual gifts that you have, but also find a way to support yourself. And a lot of times we have so many blocks and cords that we don't realize as spiritual practitioners, witch wounds. And so people have such great ideas and such great businesses that they never come to fruition because they're still stuck in those energetic traumas and experiences that keep them from moving the needle, so that's the other thing I do. Absolutely. But that's Spiritually HR. The BK Bruja Labs is who I am. I embody. We make cake pops. So if you need to do a psychedelic sacred sacrament trip, you can do that with the, cake pops. And we go through that. We hold space for people to do their shroom trips and definitely get into the psilocybin. So yeah, we definitely do quite a few things. Candle conjuring, spiritual baths. Crystal bracelets, protection, jewelry. All of those things. So traditional Bruja stuff, nothing crazy.
I see where the master of all comes into play. Yeah, you have your hand in a few tills.
I have one question. Do you also do retreats?
So you are in the future, and I love it. I'm going to take that embodiment intention that you put out there, and I'm going to embrace that and say I am. That is something I'm currently working through is retreats. There is something upcoming for the summer. I'm looking kind of like June, July-ish. It's going to be something like a spiritual get together where all spiritual practitioners and people interested can all come together and gather in the space. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be in New York. That's where I wanted to kind of kick it off because, like I said, I'm from Brooklyn. So, give it homage to where I'm from. And it's going to definitely be like a mashup of house party meets the spiritual community because we do like to shake our booties, just saying we got to keep some of the ratchet with the spiritual side. We got to keep this human side balanced too. So, we definitely dibble and dabble.
Really?
Can't be all spiritual all the time,
I'm loving this energy. I love it. You just threw something in my head. We have a actual, if you're up to taking a little trip up to, like if you said New York, but we may be able to do Pennsylvania. We may be able to do even a little further up in the upstate New York area. A couple of great places we just recently connected with that are well really built for this. So I'm loving it. Let us know at P2G because we are a community of networks. And the whole purpose is to connect with new experiences so we can pass them on and give those resources to the community. And you are definitely welcome. I'm so looking forward to embodying a physical event for P2G. And you guys who've been wanting to reach out and meet us and everything, let's go. I'm saying 4-day weekend. I'm saying,
I'm
you know what I'm
with it. I'm
saying?
with it. I'm setting the intention
Friday to
with you. Let's go.
Sunday.
Ashe. We putting it out
Let's
there.
go.
Let the money and everything else show up, and we just go ahead and put it together. So yes,
4-day
and thank you
weekend.
for that,
Okay,
because I'm always
okay.
looking at ways to, like, find space and ways we can, like, converse with each other, people that are in
Yes.
our network, so that the money can start really circulating through our community. So I would definitely
And
be interested in talking more about that as well. So yeah,
we also
definitely.
have resources in the city. Loving it. I want to make sure we touch on this because Ginger and I are part of the Black Girls in Web3. We will be coming together for a event in February. We pray that you all make it out. When Ginger comes on the next time, when Miss BK Bruja is in the place, because she's going to be in all her glory, we will be sharing a memorial of a sister that was priceless to this platform, to both platforms. She's actually she was actually a member of both of our podcasts, which was Black Girls in Web3 and Breakfast with the Thomases. So we will be sharing the life, love, and the membership, or I should say, the I can only say that it was she had her own ministry. Miss T had her own ministry, and we all are a part and result of that. And so we will be sharing Miss T's life, love, and her ministry in February. So you guys make sure you make it on. We'll be promoting the show. I so wanted you to meet this woman that we have here right now, because she has made so much, so worth it for not just myself, but so many. Y'all make sure y'all check out those Black Girls in Web3 on P2G Networks TV that actually aired. We have one talking about Miss BK Bruja right here. And
Those are
she's
some spicy nights, I will say. Miss T definitely did not sugarcoat okay, so
Yeah.
but
I
yes,
wasn't part of
definitely
the show, but
missed.
let me
And
tell you, I've had conversation with Miss T.
so we're gonna have
No hair on her tongue
we're gonna have a
whatsoever.
remembering Miss T Day on Breakfast with the Thomases, and I want to invite you all to come in and start just booking that, putting on your calendar. We'll pick the date in February and we'll promote it out everywhere so that everyone can come in and meet the life
Absolutely.
of an amazing woman who made many changes in many people's lives. So with that, I want to let Mr. Thomas get to his last question. Go
Oh,
ahead, and don't forget, we gotta rock out.
all right. Oh yeah, we got a little shoot. I didn't know. Man, see, this conversation was so good, I didn't even know where we were at.
See?
oh,
Oh
did that
man.
happen? Is it still on cue? Are we still in alignment to what's going on? Divine, how that happens. I'm just gonna say divine timing always shows up somehow, some way. It's the
Yes,
magic.
yes, yes.
That's what's up.
I think my final question is, and whew, now because I'm like right now, my head I have about 9 questions looming around right now. But no, we're gonna keep it really simple. We're gonna keep it really simple, real down to earth. One thing, what is the when people? No, let me rephrase that. I'm not a person who understands the astrology, and I know you were speaking about going in there, checking your houses and checking the sign. How do you actually initiate doing something like that? I mean, other than knowing your zodiac sign, because that's like what everyone says, I'm a Leo, I'm a Cancer. After that, and they want to do the process you just shared with them, how do they go about really doing that?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm glad you asked that question, because I think it's so important for people to know that. So one of the things I always stress is knowing your date of birth. And if you know your birth time, that is really, really helpful. A lot of people be like, I don't know my birth time. Go ask your mama. She might remember. If she don't, get a copy of your original birth certificate if they still have them. And I know some people be like, well, I was born in the Caribbean and I don't know my birth time. And then some people may know their big 3. So your big 3 is like your moon sign, which is your emotions, how you emote your emotions and show up to the world, and how you absorb emotions, and how you pick up on other people's emotions. I have a Cancer moon. So as a Cancer moon, Cancer is the house ruler of the moon. And so for me, I'm very sensitive to people's energy. So I could walk into a room and I'll probably hear people's thoughts and pick up people's energy and really have to protect just what comes through and filter through that. So it's your moon sign, your sun sign, which is like that sign that you hear people, oh, I'm a Leo or I'm an Aries. That's that sun sign where you were born, where the sun was when you were born. And then your rising sign. And so your rising sign, or what they call your ascendant sign, is like basically how you show up in your personification, or how your authentic self shows up. So some people may have a sun sign and like say a fire sign like Aries, And then they may have a rising sign in like Virgo, which is very much a person who's a performer, who likes to be seen, who likes to be out there. And then they have a sun sign that's also big and performing and likes to be seen. And the two of those together is like two twins sitting in the room, like, look at me, look at me, look at me, right? And so you could use that to be, if you're a performer, that helps you to enhance your performance abilities. But if you're in a place where you have to be a part of a team and in a boardroom where everybody has to have an ability to make a decision, maybe that's not the time you turn that spotlight on of like, look at me, right? So you have to learn how to temper it. And so that's why when you know your birth time or your date of birth and you create what's called your birth chart, you get to see how these different aspects play into who you are and how you show up. And then it gets even deeper in the rabbit hole when you start looking at what the transits are and progressions and how those overlap on who you were when you were born. So it gets really deep. But places you can go is, like I said, there's a site called astro-seek.com. You can go there and you put in your birth date. If you don't know your time, it's okay. But if you do know your time, it just kind of gets to give you more nitty gritty information about yourself. But doing your birth chart is the first step.
Awesome. So I hope y'all guys got that. Doing your birth chart is the right thing, first thing to do before you even get going anything. But I really want you guys to really get in touch with Miss BK Bruja Labs. And let me tell you, she's got it. Ms. Ruby got the QR code up there.
And thank you for that. I appreciate the QCR code because I'm definitely gonna be using that. So
she also has a link tree that you guys can get access to that has everything that she does on it, which is powerful. I don't know, Ruby, can you pull that up for just a second? Are we able to do that? Or the QR code will do that?
The QR code will take you straight to the link tree, but I
beautiful.
That's what's up. Okay.
All right. For those people,
and I even have products. So if you get into being sick or anything like that, or your immune system is working, go ahead and click on the favorite things because those are things that I use for my own family and myself. Yeah. I also conjure products as well. So there's a Breath of Ease steam up there that I make personally, and that's really good for this type of weather and the things that are happening as they pandemic us into another shutdown. I'm just saying.
That might be on track.
Closer than you think, and you heard it here first. Don't be surprised. It's not gonna be as long as the first one. But there will be some type of shutdown, world stop, Beyonce energy sooner than later. And if you look at history, the patterns.
And you see, with this snow we had this weekend, she already telling you she got the product to heal you right up.
Seriously.
All right, a little
There's a lot going on right now, and
and I just want to say thank you guys for having me this early in the morning on a Wednesday. My eyes are still kind of getting woken up, but I appreciate you guys for just allowing me to do what I love doing and sharing this. And just everybody, if you don't, like they said, you can find me. But if you don't work with me, find somebody and know that this is self-care for yourself when you can tap in and get into this space of slowing down because your energy is yours, and to live autonomously free. Got to know how to do that, and I got some Cliff Notes for you if you need them. So come find me.
All right, check that Cliff Notes.
Definitely,
that's how we got through school. Cliff Notes.
For those who are looking at the screen, at the bottom you can see where it says special guest. There's also a short link for you to go there. I want you guys to reach out. Not only just reach out for because we're referring you. It's time for self-care. Who is going to run this life, this great life that you want, if not you? And if you haven't been really taking care of your inside. Some of y'all are doing great at the exercise and the this and the that, but you're still wondering why you're stressed out, have headaches, and you feel ill. There's something going on inside where the doctors can't see. And that means someone who can see deeper so that you really start to heal. Don't ever forget your spirit needs to be cared for as well.
And you bring up something about energetic dis-ease, which creates physical dis-ease, and that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But yes, absolutely.
Oh, and we will have it. Don't stop.
I hope you don't think this is the last time you coming on. I hope not.
I'm looking forward to the replay, baby. The second come around.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, and I appreciate you. And of course, if anytime you guys want me back, I'm definitely down to use this bullhorn they gave me with the Saturn Aries conjunction that I didn't ask for. But as an Aries, this is what I'm here for. And I was born at a 0-1 degree, so this is hitting my house in a way that is like, ooh, personally, they ripping up through that carpet and remodeling the inside. So the outside, we look at how we look on the inside. So we're working through it. But this is real, right? We all go through it. And we're all human. And so even as a spiritual practitioner, as magical as it is, I still live a human life. I'm still human. I still go through things. And I think the more we create that community to all be there for each other, this is how we start that catalyst and build community for real.
And with that, we invite you all to come in and have a wonderful life. Okay, with that, let's get it party. We're gonna see ourselves out the door the same way we saw ourselves in. Rock out.
Oh,
Happy-
ba-da-da-da-da.
Woo!
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
See it. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday.